It's about to get chilly.
UFC on ESPN Plus 2 was electric. The fights, the fans, and fucking Johnny Walker. With 5 out of 6 finishes on the main card, tidal waves are about to run through these rankings. Here are 3 bouts worth booking after UFC on ESPN Plus 2. Number 1 at light heavyweight, you already know, it's Johnny Walker versus 13th ranked Mauricio Shogun Hua. Some good old Brazil on Brazil crime. On Saturday night, Johnny Walker TKO'd Justin Ledet inside 15 seconds with a hook kick to spinning back fist. With 2 absolutely vicious round 1 KOs, UFC fans are now all aboard the hype train, and he should take a step up in competition. And this is a big one. Shogun Hua is a complex matchup for Walker. The veteran Shogun will bring a smart game plan to pry open Walker on the feet. He also may pose a problem on the mat with his legendary ground and pound. Before the UFC, Johnny Walker had a couple tough fights where he wasn't able to defend off his back, so we'll see if he's polished up his ground game, and Shogun will surely find that out. Not to mention there's the changing of the old guard narrative here. Like Cowboy versus Alex Hernandez, this aspect can bring some interesting storylines to the octagon. Speaking of Mr. Hernandez, he shapeshift into bout number 2 versus Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. The Brazilian 155er is on a 4-fight win streak, all 4 finished by choke. Oliveira fought back from a vicious eye poke and knockdown in the first to ravage the body of David Tamer and submit him in round 2 via Anaconda choke. A matchup with Alex Hernandez is intriguing from a few dynamics. The wrestler Hernandez will be very wary of getting caught in a choke. After Oliveira outstruck the kickboxer Tamer, we know he's strong enough to test Hernandez's new striking game plan after his tough loss to Cowboy. This is a technical matchup that could erupt into a firefight if both fighters force each other to stay standing. Fight number 3, at featherweight, 2nd-ranked Jose Aldo Jr. versus top contender Brian T. City Ortega. Jose Aldo beat Renato Moicano via round 2 TKO Saturday night. He picked his shots, found the openings, and relentlessly flurried on him after figuring him out. 2 straight TKOs for Aldo, but that Max Holloway rematch still doesn't feel quite right. Brian Ortega called out Aldo immediately, and I love this fight for a couple of reasons. We know Jose's striking is right up there with Holloway, and if Ortega hasn't improved his stand-up, we will know right away. Also, I'd love to see how 2004 World BJJ champ Aldo combats Ortega's scary submission game. Lastly, if Holloway fights Khabib, Conor, or DC at heavyweight, cupcakes, we can make a little tournament with Aldo versus Ortega and Volkanovski versus Edgar for a title chance. Those were just 3 fights that should be finalized for the UFC in 2019. Agree or disagree, comment below, and we'll get right back to you with one to watch at UFC 234.